Stuff. You know, when you think someone is locked up in a maximum security prison, they're done. They're out of business. But across the country, inmates, we're talking about convicted murderers and rapists, are smuggling in cell phones, and from inside their own cells, they're ordering innocent people killed.
Baltimore County 911.
My stepdad just got shot.
Stay on the line for me, okay?
Carl Lackel was shot in cold blood on his front lawn, just feet from his teenage stepdaughter and his baby girl.
They said your son's dead. They said he took so many bullets to the chest, there wasn't a chance. And I said, well, I want to be with my son. I want to hold my son. And they said I couldn't because he was a crime scene.
Carl was targeted by an inmate in a local prison. That's him, Patrick Byers. Carl was set to testify against him in a murder case, but Byers wanted him silenced, and just a week before the trial, ordered his hit from inside his own prison cell using a smuggled cell phone.
I was sick. I was just so sick and disgusted that people can get cell phones into these jails, and it's so easy.
This can happen to you. It can happen to me just as easily as it happened to my brother.
Byers himself made over 11,000 calls from that one phone, and it's happening across the country. Inmates using cell phones behind bars to commit crimes against innocent people.
This is literally a ticking time bomb.
John Osmond runs South Carolina's prison system, where they confiscate thousands of illegal cell phones every year. Phones, he says, inmates use to pull off violent crimes, drug deals, and even credit card fraud in your neighborhoods. While prisons check everyone coming in, it's not enough. These criminals get creative.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to get more creative.
Their friends on the outside stuff cell phones into footballs and literally throw them over the prison fence, even making homemade bazooka guns like this to shoot the phones and chargers into the prison yard.
They use it as a shoulder-fired weapon, put it on their shoulder, and fired the phones over the fence line.
And just like that, it's in.
And just like that, it's in.
When guards aren't looking, the prisoners grab them, plug them into outlets in their own cells, and they're in business.
If Congress, the FCC, or the administration continue to sit on their hands, then absolutely more people are going to die.
You think there's an easy solution to fix all this?
I know there's a solution to fix all this.
Cell phone jamming equipment that would kill service inside the prison walls. In a recent demonstration here in South Carolina, it seemed to work. Cell phones inside the prison went dead, but just outside the prison, they still worked. So did the guards' radios. That's how precise it is.
That's how precise it is.
But there's a problem. According to an obscure federal law from the 1930s, state prisons can't use jamming equipment. There's legislation to change that right now. But guess who's fighting it tooth and nail? The cell phone industry.
We would respectfully disagree that jamming technology is the best way to solve this problem.
John Walls represents the cell phone industry. He recommends cell phone sniffing dogs and other detection equipment. They're being used at some prisons right now with some success. He says the problem with jamming equipment, there's no way to kill service inside the prison without affecting regular and emergency calls of people living nearby. We spoke with sheriffs, prison officials, attorneys general, governors, senators in several states, and they all say the same thing: jamming technology is best. Are they all wrong?
They're not wrong in wanting to shut down the problem. We think there are other viable legal solutions that should be looked at.
But law enforcement officials nationwide told us the cell phone industry may have other motives for fighting jamming.
I do know they make huge profits on prepaid cell phone minutes.
Critics say this is about money. The wireless industry is making a lot of money each year on these illegal calls, and that's why you're fighting this. How do you respond?
That's outrageous. It really is. It's actually insulting.
But for Carl Lackel's family, still mourning his brutal murder, jamming equipment is the only way to stop the killing.
I cry a lot. And I miss him more than anybody knows. It hurts really bad. He always ended my conversations with, "I love you, Mom." And I never heard, "Mom, I love you, Mom," in 2 years. And I'm angry that the fact that all they had to do was block those cell phones and my son would still be here with his little girl.
You feel for that family. Patrick Byers, the inmate who ordered Carl Lackel's hit, is now serving 4 consecutive life sentences. Right now, there is legislation before Congress that would allow cell phone jamming inside of prisons. It's at the very early stages right now, so there's no telling when they'll vote. Meredith?
I don't understand how guards don't notice these prisoners on the phone, or a bazooka outside, you know?
Yeah, the problem is staffing. I mean, frankly, and they admit this, there's usually only one guard for hundreds of inmates. And so what happens is when the guards aren't looking and the guards can't watch everybody at once, these prisoners are using the phones, and the wardens tell us they become such little MacGyvers, the prisoners have, that they can literally take apart an entire cell phone in seconds. So if they hear that a guard is coming, they take apart the cell phone, they hide the parts all over their cell, and the guards have no idea. That's why they say the only way to stop this problem for good is that jamming technology that the industry won't allow.
Thank you, Jeff, very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Scary stuff. Still ahead, why some women are upset that Elizabeth Edwards is writing and speaking out about her husband's affair. But first, these messages.
I want to start by talking about... I don't know if it was, if I knew...